isn't an option. We present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Who has he had that was anywhere near a Jarvis Landry that he played with in Buffalo that was anywhere near his talent? Name one guy that you expected was going to catch over 60 balls that didn't pan out.
What about Robert Woods? Yeah, he had Robert Woods who had the beginning of his career, but then he went to LA and had a better season. But Robert Woods is what we're talking about right now.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you were doing something.
All right.
What's going on here? I thought you were
Just do an intro, maybe. Ready?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Travis. Ready?
Okay,
3.
hold on.
No, we talked about that, but it's going to be the top of the line, so we decided to scrap that. We just, 10 seconds ago.
I'm sorry, I was
Deep thought.
not paying attention.
Want me to do it? Who we got?
Do what?
Let's all do it.
What are we doing?
No, hit it with it, and Trav's going to hit the intro.
Hit me with it, Scoop.
All right, ready?
Sorry for the amateur hour.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome to the podcast, Triple Coverage Podcast. I'm Travis Sutton. I'm here with Jay Up and James Up. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Today we're going to get into talking some veteran player values, some dynasty implications as we see it, I guess, going into this next year. Maybe some, do you want to buy, do you want to sell, what do you want to do with some of these guys, or what's the outlook for the 2018 season and beyond, maybe even. So, you guys
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big names, little
Dynasty.
names, all kinds of names.
Smashing my league for the next 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I hope so.
you guys want to start with position?
Yeah, sure.
We guys
Anybody
wanna
do quarterbacks?
I did not.
I did one. All right.
Let's start off with your
All right,
quarterback.
let's start it
All
off.
right, I went by default.
Most important position on the field.
So the only one I wrote down was Marcus Mariota because I thought that he had it could go either way this next coming season. He brought in a new coach, new offensive coordinator, pretty much knew everything. Got rid of their lead running back, which is DeMarco Murray. Let him go to free agency. Last season, he finished as quarterback number 19 in our PPR Dynasty League, but knew everything. So schemes could change. Does he go back more to like the Oregon days? Does he run more plays on offense? Very young, talented squad with Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. Corey Davis is there. What do you guys think moving forward for Marcus Mariota? Do you think that this season is an improvement, or does he take a step back and fall even deeper than quarterback 19?
No, I definitely think he takes a step forward.
Okay, me as
Quarterback
well.
19 was not expected. I think that the way they ran their plays last year was very just, I don't know, old and stale, I feel. And I think this is going to rejuvenate a little bit. And like you said, he's got a lot of young weapons around him. And he still has a couple of veterans there, like Delaney Walker
Mm-hmm.
and even Rashard Matthews,
Right.
to kind of, help out along that. But they have a lot of good young guys coming in.
So for you buying or you selling?
I'm buying Mariota.
You are, okay.
Yeah, if I get the opportunity to buy him, and I don't think you're gonna get a chance to buy him low. But if you wait on him, he's not gonna be any lower than he is right now.
Right. So, but in our league, and in most dynasty leagues, with this as one quarterback start, what value can you give? You said you're buying, correct?
Yes.
So what are you willing to pay for Marcus Mariota? What will be your top offer that you say, okay, I can go as far as this, and if you want to put in rookie picks for this coming season?
It's hard to gauge with quarterbacks because we play in a league where it's 6 points per touchdown, and obviously you get bonus points for going over 300 yards.
Which he rarely does.
Which he really does, but you get the running ability of him. So, and you get 6 points for a rushing touchdown. So he does have good value. What would you give? Like I honestly, in this league with quarterbacks, I can't figure it out.
I wrote mine down, but what do you think? Marcus Mariota, or actually, are you buying or are you selling him? Do you think that he's going to improve or take a step back?
I think he has a chance to improve, and I would probably lean to the side of him improving this year. I don't know if I really go out and pursue buying him.
Right.
I guess right now would be a decent time to do it if you wanted to, because his value's probably a little depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, in a start one league, I'm not actively looking for quarterbacks unless there's some kind of a multiplayer trade
Right.
talks going on.
And he kind of gets as like a throw-in
He'd
type.
have to be thrown in, exactly. Like, I wouldn't be able to go out there and be like, oh, I'll give you 2 second-rounders for Mariota. It's
I
like
put
almost-
I put back in second. Like the second round pick, like 209 to 2012 range is what I would be willing to give up if I needed a quarterback bad and I want to take a chance on somebody that I can get now that's value is kind of like you said, not an all-time low, but the value is just not there right now because of last season and how sloppy everything was in their playbook. And the offense was pissed off. They wanted to run the no huddle. The old regime didn't want to, and they had their own ideas. And I mean, now we're here.
Sounds like you were pretty plugged in with the tighten up.
I mean, I had Corey Davis on my team, and I watched him the whole time get hurt and come in, come out. And then there was every episode we talked about DeMarco Murray versus Derrick Henry. So like we were well invested in the Tennessee Titans. So I did watch a lot of Mariota and Derrick Henry and Corey Davis. And yeah, I came to the conclusion that every time I went on Twitter, I see Rashard Matthews saying that they don't. He's speaking for the entire locker room when they say they want to run a hurry-up offense and keep it going because they want to use their speed and their youth and keep the ball moving. But of course, then you have DeMarco Murray as your running back who was 29 years old. So it's like you got to skew one way or the other. That's why they're not there anymore. So I think that he has a huge bump up this season. They made the playoffs last year. I think that they go back again.
What's a huge bump up though?
Well, QB 19, so I would say
QB 1.
12, 13-ish. I think back in QB 1.
I think you could finish as 12.
Yeah.
Top 12.
But again, a lot of those quarterbacks that didn't finish in the top 12, Deshaun Watson, if he would have played a whole season, he easily would. Aaron Rodgers easily would have finished in the top 12. So again, quarterback 19, that's with a lot of injury quarterback. So yeah, I still think he squeezes right around the back end of a QB 1.
Well, you also have a few guys who could probably drop out. I mean, Alex
Right.
Smith had an above average season
For
last
sure.
year.
And he's going on a new team now, yeah.
Dak Prescott was
Mhm,
he was
barely there.
9, so I mean things don't go well there. They lost the number 1 wide receiver. They might be hurting a little bit.
I agree. Hurting a lot. That's not a jab at Dallas, just to get that clear. I'm just saying I think they're in trouble.
Right, see? So shots fired right
I just
away.
said
It's a
it's
little
not.
veiled jab. Okay, so that's if I
They're
take
gonna
a jab at
be in trouble.
Detroit, I say that's not a jab at Detroit.
I just said they're not going to. I just think they're going to be in trouble. Their offense needs help. Can we agree on that or no?
Yeah, they
Okay.
need wide receiver.
So, all right, so that's not a
What does
jab.
that got to do with Marcus Mariota? I'm
Exactly.
sorry I brought it up. Sorry I brought up Dak there.
Okay, so that's the only quarterback we have. Running back.
Yeah,
You guys
let's
somebody want to start? Throw out a name.
Let's hear it, Jay.
Tevin Coleman. I'm
Buy.
buying Tevin Coleman, and the reason I'm buying Tevin Coleman is because he's in his free agency year. This is his basically prove it. I don't think Atlanta's going to sign him to an extension like they did with Devontae Freeman. I don't think they'll be able to afford both running backs at a high price.
Correct.
So he may be looking to go somewhere else, and if he has a good season, he's going to have a lot of choices to pick.
He's
and
gonna
they're
get
gonna-
paid.
And they're going to throw him money. So he doesn't have to go to somewhere like the Jets or someone that's maybe on a downswing, like maybe if LaShawn McCoy gets traded and Buffalo tries to sign Tevin Coleman. He doesn't have to go there. He can chase the money, or he can go to the best spot that's best suited for him. So I'm buying Tevin Coleman right now because right now he's basically 1B to Devontae Freeman's 1A, so you can get him a little bit cheaper.
But he finishes running back 23 in our league, PPR league again. He did miss a week. He missed week 15. So let's say if he did play, he's averaged 11 points. So you bump him up to about running back 20-ish, right around Frank Gore, Alex Collins area. With his age, everything like that, I think that he still has a productive season, even though it's going to be, like you said, splitting time. But if he has anywhere near a season like he has been having, I think that he's going to get paid very well in the offseason come 2019. So I'm buying, but what are you buying him for?
The problem is that if you're gonna buy Tevin Coleman
Right, you
right
have
now,
to
it's
overpay.
you're gonna have to be. It's gonna be like a late round first.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be able to get him for a second.
Hmm.
In my opinion, like I don't own Tevin Coleman.
201?
But, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be like the 111, 112, 201. But if anything else, like you're not gonna be able to give up like a 204, 205 for Tevin Coleman. The Tevin Coleman owner is not gonna take that. I don't believe.
Yeah, situation dependent. It seems like it's probably package a player and a second round, or a player
Right.
and a
Right.
decent pick, and you might be able to snag him up. Yeah, I mean,
Are you buying as well?
if the price is right, I would buy. I'm not a huge Tevin Coleman fan. I don't know if he can handle the job if he's the guy. I think he's a great RB2. So I'm not super high on him, but yeah, I would probably buy him if the price is right. I would, if I had a player of relatively equal kind of value as far as production, but not name cachet, and a second rounder, I would buy him probably.
Who do you prefer, Tevin Coleman or Deion Lewis? Because I feel like they're kind of the same. Neither one of them probably, most likely, is never going to be an every down back. They're both kind of play the same position. Deion Lewis a couple years older than Tevin Coleman.
In the Dynasty League, I'm taking Coleman.
Yeah.
Coleman's younger, and Coleman has less tread on the tires, and Deion Lewis is the same
Does he
type
though?
of
'Cause
thing.
Deion Lewis played in New England the last couple of seasons and was used like sporadically. It wasn't like he was used
He
every.
gets hurt when he's used.
I'm just
too
saying.
much.
I think Tevin Coleman's got the same amount of wear and tear on his legs because he played a lot more in Atlanta the last 3 years than Deion Lewis did in New England. They had 8 running backs there.
Yeah, I could go either way. If it's just this next coming year, I might lean Deion Lewis, because I think upside there might be a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
If you want that just steady Eddie, then I might go Coleman, because of Lewis might get hurt.
Consistency, yeah. I
We
agree.
don't know where Coleman's going to end up next year.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
But if Coleman does land in a situation that's beneficial to him, like where he does get the ball and say, hey, it's going to be your team, and you kind of do with it as you please, and he lands in a decent situation, I
It's
think his
intriguing.
value could
Yeah.
blow up.
That is
I
very
just don't see
intriguing.
where though.
That's
Like,
the thing. I don't see where. With all the running backs coming in last year and
this
fairly
year?
deep class, like, what kind of job is going to be open that's not basically the same kind of job?
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking like if he lands in Oakland, because Oakland obviously has 2 older running backs. They have Doug Martin, Lynch. Maybe somehow they sign him again. That's just he fits that mold of what they had before with the Washington and Richard. Like he's like not that big back of like the Marshawn Lynch type. So I could see him landing in Oakland and coming to Las Vegas Raiders. Tevin Coleman,
Seattle, Tampa Bay, Washington.
Tampa Bay. Okay,
Like those teams he could take over right now and be the number 1 guy. And
Tampa's
just
gonna
have
get
somebody
Saquon. So Tampa's
Well, I'm
getting
saying
Saquon Barkley.
this is pre-draft, obviously, but I'm saying like there's a couple different spots on here. If you look, that he like even in Indy, if he goes to Indianapolis,
And he's not
he'd
bad.
be a good fit in Indy. And you have Marlon Mack as a change of pace back. They've already gotten rid of Frank Gore. They don't really have much else there.
Hmm.
I
No,
think
I guess
that
there's a couple
he
spots,
would be
but-
the 1A in Indy, as Marlon Mack would be the 1B. So similar situation, but
One
he would
C,
be
maybe.
he'd be the top guy instead of.
2C.
Yeah, he's 2-3. C. All right, another running.
Marlon back.
And Marlon, give back. Any other running backs? I have actually one that I thought was very intriguing to me personally because I'm a Detroit Lions fan, and that's LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount had that huge year with New England where he just annihilated those touchdowns. Then he goes to Philly. Everyone kind of thought he was done. He came on pretty strong in the second half of the season for Philly. Ended up finishing as running back 44, but he was splitting time with Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, and the rest of the team there. 31 years old. To me, he's a buy very low. Because I think that if you're trying to do a championship season run right now, and you know your team's going to make the playoffs, or you feel that it is, that to me he adds that depth that you can have as your running back 3 or 4. That just in case something happens to your lead backs or bye weeks come or injuries happen, that he's a guy that you can plug in and hope that he's going to get a couple of touchdowns or maybe get like 40 yards and a couple of catches. He doesn't really catch that much, but I just think that he's a good fill-in player that you can rely on. And Matt Patricia, the head coach for Detroit, loves him. Says he has plenty left in the tank. That's why he signed him. He thinks that he has at least 2 years left, and I don't think he has that much tread on his tires, like you said about Tevin Coleman, because he was only the lead back 1 year, and it was in Tampa. Then that was it. Like, he played in Pittsburgh, not much. He played in Tampa that one season. Then they brought Doug Martin in. Then he got traded to Patriots, where they had that whole entire backfield. Then he gets sent over to the Eagles, and they have 3 or 4 running backs. So he's never really been that guy to carry all the load. So he's got fresh legs, in my opinion.
To me, Blunt is a sell, and I'm trying to sell him before the draft happens. And the reason why is because if I'm an owner of Blunt, the writing's on the wall. Like, they've already said that Amir Abdullah's spot is not safe. Theo Riddick's spot is not safe. The only guy that has their spot locked down is LeGarrette Blount. They're going to draft a running back. So I want to sell him before the draft happens, because if it happens to be a big name guy, like a Darius Geis or even a Nick Chubb type, if they bring in somebody with that name cachet, it's gonna be curtains for Garrett Blount. He's gonna be reduced to just short yardage stuff. I think so. They don't run the ball on the one, James. They throw it.
Yeah, because they haven't had. Thank you, Travis. They haven't had a guy that's over 220 pounds in 25 years. Like what?
But this is the thing. This is how I feel about Blunt, because his spot locked down is
Shows you something.
maybe
It's locked down.
like this year, maybe.
This
Oh,
year,
yeah, for sure.
because
Yeah.
he's a brand new guy.
Right.
And even so, that's not a guarantee.
Right.
Depending on how the draft goes and all that kind of stuff. So like James said, if I'm kind of competing, I feel like good depth, especially if some injuries kind of happen. It's great depth for you because he's a good vet. His role is to get touchdowns, so that's a decent guy I'd like to have on my team. If I'm selling him, like what am I
was going to ask. So you said sell, right?
I said sell.
Okay, what would you sell him for? What's the lowest that you would possibly go? I can't wait to hear this because
a bag of peanuts.
Yeah, like if you're selling him for a 4th round pick, I'm buying immediately. If it's 3rd round, then I'm like, okay. If it's a back end 3rd, I would consider. But like, how low are you?
A nickel bag?
5th? Yeah, like.
See, that's a problem. Is that if I'm selling LeGarrette Blount, I'm obviously gonna shoot for a 3rd round pick.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna shoot for. But I don't know who's gonna be willing to give up a 3rd round pick for a 31-year-old running back.
You'll shoot for that, but what would you
take? What's your floor?
Take a 4th?
Obviously,
like, I can't give you a 3rd. I'll give you the 403.
Right, we're not holding you to the fire. You don't actually have them, so like
if it was a upper 4th round, yeah. If it's like a 401, 402, 403, then
I would buy immediately. I have the 40.
Yeah,
I think I have the 407 or 409. Like I think I might have 407 and a 5 something. I would give you my back end 4th and like a whatever 5th maybe for LeGarrette Blount just to add depth to my team and just to have that security blanket of if something does happen. What if they do draft a running back? That's fine. Even if they keep Abdullah and Theo Riddick there, they don't have a back that's the size of LeGarrette Blount that's going to take that. I think it's going to be a whole new world for this offense when we get inside the 5-yard line because. Like you said, we would throw on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, and then kick a field goal. And I'm what are they doing? Or they gave it to the other back.
Changing his whole offensive philosophy.
Not the whole thing.
I don't think you have to change the whole philosophy, but when you get in situations that you do need to do that, you have a guy that you can do that. They just don't have a guy that they can do that with.
Remember Amir Abdullah begged I can be the short yardage guy, and then he comes in and fumbles 2 times, and then Jim Bob Cooter's like, well, we're done with that. Like at that point in the season, it was like game 10, 11, it was towards the end. From that moment on, they never ran the ball again inside the 10-yard line. It was literally, they're trying to throw it. And the other problem was, we don't have a gigantic target that was a red zone target until they finally started throwing to Eric Ebron, and then they let him go to free agency. So at this point now, we have no red zone target guys except for maybe Kenny Galladay, who's very fresh and it's going to be his 2nd year, very raw. So to me, I think LeGarrette Blount's going to be getting. He's going to get double-digit touchdowns. I'll say it again. He'll get 10 touchdowns this year.
I'll take under on that. That's
next young and aggressive. We like him fresh and raw.
Raw and fresh. Like my sushi.
Is not LeGarrette Blount for sure.
So you don't think there's any possible way you can get 10 touchdowns? As many times as Detroit?
I mean, it's possible, but I'll take the under still.
10 touchdowns? Okay, I'll make the bet after the draft. I want to see what we get.
Is that a bet?
Yeah, after the
now we want to wait for after the draft?
Well, if we get Nick Chubb or guys, maybe not.
Whoa.
Then he'll get 8. He'll get 8.
You're going to backtrack.
Well, because those are 2 big backs that it could possibly take a red zone couple carries away from. But again, 10 touchdowns for sure right now. If we draft a big back, you still get 8.
I'll take the under right now.
Under 8?
Oh, under 10. You can't change your bet. What are you?
I'll do 9. I'll do 9.
I'll do 9. Jarvis Landry catches?
9? No.
You said double digits. I said under.
TBD.
Yeah. TBD.
All right. Another guy along those same lines. I thought Marshawn Lynch to me is an interesting guy because if you do have Marshawn Lynch, I think his name still carries a lot of weight with the owner. So you're probably not looking to just get rid of him at a cheap price, but I think your team makeup really has a lot to do with it, and what you're going to do in this next draft possibly, what they do in the draft possibly, like where's his value go? Is it like teetering on the edge of something happening, or is he kind of going to be the guy again? He got rolling toward the end of the year.
I know. I'm looking at his numbers right now. At the end of the season, 20, 23, 14, 13, 10, 17. So he finished the season pretty strong. I mean, double digits every single game, which is all you can ask for. After the bye week, he only had 1 game under 10 points. So the owner in our league that has him, that we're looking at, that we're referencing on the website, it's tough with him because I think that everyone knows that he has this 1 season left, and like there's no future past that. So there's no one that I see would give up like for sure not first, but I mean like a second, maybe even a third, because they're thinking, dang, a 3rd round pick, I can kind of still get some value in a rookie draft for a 3rd round pick where he could possibly pop, and now I have that guy for the next 5 to 6 seasons, or I waste that pick or give that pick away, not waste, give that pick away from Marshawn Lynch, kind of lock up my depth at running back position to make a championship run, knowing that I only have a 1 or 2 window to win. That would be the only possibility I would buy on Marshawn Lynch, is if I could get him for a late 3rd or further back than that. And he was just added for depth, and I didn't have to rely on him.
That's the way I kind of feel too. I think I would buy Lynch before I bought Blunt if it's going to be the third round value, because I think that they finally figured out kind of what they wanted to do with Lynch in the second half of the season. Because if you remember, the first half of that season was just terrible. Like, they didn't know how to use them, and they were like, oh, we're going to save them for down the stretch. But then by the time they started using them, they were like out of the playoff race.
He finished running back 22, but he did miss a game, and he got hurt in the game before that. So if you want to call it 2 games, he pretty much missed 2 games and still finished as running back 22. So he probably would have been around the running back 19, running back 18 range, which is not bad.
Well, now you have Gruden there, and I think Gruden's going to run the ball.
But didn't they get Doug Martin?
Right.
Is that going to take away? I mean, they're not just going to sign Doug Martin and then just throw him to... So maybe Doug Martin is going to be the receiving back there, but I still think he will take some touches away from Lynch. I could see this being one of those things where Lynch, being him, be like, oh, why is Doug Martin getting 14 carries and I'm getting 10 carries? Why did Doug Martin come in on the goal line? Like, I could see this being like an issue. Hopefully they gel well together, because I want to see the Raiders succeed, because obviously they're coming to Vegas here shortly. And I want them to be rolling like as a playoff team when they come here, not struggling, looking to get a running back and looking to get wide receiver. I just want them to figure it out before they get here, so that we have a decent team. But
I think they will. From what it seems like, there's a lot of pieces on that team that won't be there when they come to Vegas.
You can only make so many changes. Like you know, I mean, he can only cut so many guys and do so much. I mean, he just got the team. I can't wait to see who they draft. Now I actually care like who the Raiders pick. They have the 110 and the 209. Very excited to see where they go, what direction they're.
Yeah, if I was looking to acquire Marshawn Lynch for my Dynasty team, all those factors, you know, Doug Martin and the unknowns of the new kind of switch coaches and everything, is what would keep me from offering anything other than maybe a late. If I had multiple second-round picks, I might give a late second-round for him. But if I was just having my regular collection of picks, I'd probably do a third for him. But yeah, it's one of those, I don't know if I'd sell him if I had him, because I just kind of keep him around for depth.
The owner that has him is trying to sell him to everyone.
Yeah, but would you be surprised to know what that owner asked another owner for Marshawn Lynch?
What,
this isn't going to surprise you.
202?
No, he asked for a first round.
No, he didn't.
A 2019 first round.
Straight up for Lynch.
Hey.
Who was it?
No harm in trying.
He asked Pete.
Because of the name, because that's one of the guys that you can go with the name. And also that Pete, the owner, has Doug Martin too. So I mean that's how he sold it to him. Like, hey, you can have the handcuffs in case, whatever.
Any other running backs?
Terrible.
Yeah, I actually have one that I think you guys will be surprised by, because of how much I was against this guy.
Travis Sutton?
Latavius Murray.
Okay.
I have him as a buy. And the reason why is because I wasn't high on him going to Minnesota. I thought that he was going to be just buried behind McKinnon, Dalvin Cook, and when Cook went down, Murray stepped up, and that offensive line looked pretty good. Now, I know Pat Shurmur's gone, and he's not the offensive coordinator there anymore, but now you're stuck with Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray, and there's not anything else behind them. So if Cook does come back, and he does struggle a little bit just coming off the injury, Murray is very capable of taking on an every down back role, and you're not going to have to pay very much for him because he's, quote-unquote, the backup. Like, Dalvin Cook is the starter. And when he's 100% healthy, they're going to use him like a starter. But Murray is still going to get stuff, and he still gets occasional goal lines, and he still can catch occasionally. So, for me, he's a buy. When you come into the value, though, what are you willing to pay? Because he is still a backup.
Yeah, but this is what's tough is that, like, when he had a bad game, like, he literally, like, they either used him as an every down back or didn't use him at all. And that's what's kind of scary. So like you said, if Cook is healthy and for some reason is able to finish the whole entire season and not get hurt, his value might be nothing. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at his stats right now, and like the first 6 weeks of the season,
hurt, though, in the very beginning of the season,
he was hurt.
He was still getting over his ankle injury, and that's before Cook went down. So once Cook went down, he was getting double-digit attempts.
Right.
So he was still getting, I think,
but again, that's after Cook went down, and that's why I'm like I can't really hold any 18 carries, 19 carries for 39 yards, 17. Like he had double-digit carries in every game except for against the Panthers there, and he didn't really. I don't know. I just think that he would have to be the only guy there, and I'm not sure that if Cook got hurt again, if they would roll with just Latavius Murray and not bring in anybody else or sign anybody else, and just give the whole entire
They may
load to Murray.
They may bring in somebody else,
Right.
But I don't think they're going to draft a running back with a high pedigree. It's not going to be like a first or second round pick.
No.
They're going to bring in somebody else, and they'll have some backup there. But I think that Murray will have value, especially if Cook stumbles at all. Like, there's not a guarantee that just because week 1 rolls around that Cook is going to get 25 carries.
I think I only buy Murray if I am a Cook owner.
What do you buy him for?
If I own Cook,
No,
or just in general.
even just in general. I have it as like a mid
Third.
third.
Third, yeah. Early third would be the highest I would go.
Yeah, I would. I'd give a third for him. I'd consider giving a late second for him as well.
He's 28.
I mean, you've seen him come in and be productive, and you've already had injuries there, so excuse me. He's one thing away from being the guy, and I think if Cook did go down again, that he would be the guy.
He would be the starter, and you'd have somebody that came in and would give him a spell every once in a while, like whatever rookie they bring in or whatever free agent they bring in. But I think you're right. I think he would be like the main guy.
In that case, too, if that does happen, then his value goes up exponentially, and you could probably flip him if you didn't need to depend on him
Correct.
as well. So
Average
it could be a good investment.
3.9 yards a carry. It's not terrible. I mean,
Yeah, yards per carries. Yeah.
It just shows you how much it's completely flipped. Because last year at this exact time, I wanted no part of Murray, and this year I'm buying him. So that's just the way Dynasty kind of rolls. Is that you have to be open-minded to everything. You can't just shut down certain players because you may hate them one year, but you might like them the next. So just keep an open mind when you're going through that stuff.
That's deep, bro. That's deep.
philosophy.
Hit us with another one, guys.
LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn
McCoy was running back 7 last year in our league. He will be 30 years old at the start of the year. They added 0 free agent wide receiver or tight end help in their passing game. They brought in a new quarterback with very little NFL starting experience in A.J. McCarron. Quarterback that makes the situation a little bit more sketchy. He will be the focal point of the offense, but I'm a little scared of his age, his injury history. They finally have a running back that's, I guess, semi-decent behind him, and Chris Ivory. He hasn't had that the last couple of seasons in Buffalo. It's just been a bunch of guys. So, to me, I'm selling on McCoy because I think that this is the last chance you're going to be able to get a first-round pick from McCoy. If you wait any longer and anything happens in Buffalo where they trade him or they change out quarterbacks or they do whatever they're going to do or injuries happen, I think that his value can only go down. There's no way in my eyes I can see McCoy's value actually going up because this is the last time you're going to be able to get a first-round pick for him, and it's going to be probably a late first-round pick.
I'm only buying if I'm a contender and my team is built to win like this year. If I'm building something to win in the next like 2 seasons, I don't want any part of McCoy whatsoever.
I kind of hit the panic button on McCoy. I had him in both my Dynasty leagues, and I sold him in both Dynasty leagues within this last month. And I still hope that he does well. I think he's a great running back, and I don't want the person I traded with to feel like he got taken advantage of. So I do want to see him succeed. But in one of the leagues I sold him in, I won the championship last year. The other one, I tried to get the championship, got taken out, and finished 4th. And I think that my team in the league I finished 4th in is the league that I'm ready to win a championship in right now, and I still sold him because I'm afraid that if I don't win this year, then I can't get fair value for McCoy going forward. So I hit the panic button.
You'd have to ride out.
And I shipped him. Well, I shipped him so that I could get a first-round pick. So I ended up getting a first-round pick for him because I need help. I need help in the future. I can't let my team just rot, you know? I made that mistake with Frank Gore. And I'm making the same mistake now with Tom Brady. So I got to eventually ship these guys.
I think there's a good 2-year window for McCoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think his value. I agree with you. His value is probably not going to go up, but I think it could sustain.
For sure.
And I would give a first-round pick for McCoy, like a late first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could probably still get that the next year, unless the bottom falls out and he gets hurt.
I'm just worried about mostly like the Buffalo team in general, like the team makeup and
But they've been bad.
For sure,
they've
but
been a running kind of.
But
team,
at least they had Tyrod and like they tried to do some things by bringing in Benjamin and they brought in it's just. I don't know. Just I see Buffalo trying to get in so much focus on trying to get a top 5 pick this year and trying to get their franchise quarterback that they're going to put everything into that. And like you said earlier, Buffalo's got a lot of early picks that they could, instead of trying to just go all in on this quarterback situation, and then even if they get the top 5 pick, they're going to get the 4th best quarterback or 3rd best quarterback coming out. Is not a home run guarantee. You're trading away picks that you should be taking on other positions that you need help at, instead of trying to just package everything to move up for one guy that you don't even know is going to work out yet. And that kind of scares me about McCoy.
They could even if they package those 2 first rounders to move up, they still got 2 seconds and 2 thirds. They still can add some good, decent pieces, and I think they'll probably add some offensive line stuff. I think their defense was decent last year.
What about their wide receivers? They're tied. Like they don't.
But
it's literally just
been
McCoy.
so shabby the last few years. I'm not even concerned about it at this point. It's like that's almost better for McCoy because he's been in positions to where everything's got to funnel through him, and he's stayed healthy. So yeah, I wouldn't be too scared. I mean, just like you, 2 years ago, I think I sold him to you in one of the leagues after I won the championship because I needed to change the makeup of my team. But I still thought he had some good years left. So I think he's one of those top guys that, yeah, if you're going to compete for sure, go out and buy him if you want to make that run.
Yeah. I mean, I can see a buy or sell on him. Again, it depends. This one for me is clearly on your team makeup. If you're ready to win, and you have a running back 1 and you need a running back 2, then he's for sure a buy. For a first round pick, if it gets you that championship win, well worth it.
Who else you got, Travis? Give us another name.
Abdullah. We already talked about Murray. He's on my list also. Abdullah, I'm interested about. Everybody's been waiting, I think, for this guy to get. For whatever reason, Detroit is going to try to make him a lead back, and last year was the first time we actually got to see how that panned out over a decent period of time, and it wasn't too good. So I mean, I don't think that's the kind of back he is. I think he could be a really good number 2 somewhere. But will he get that shot? Is now the time to buy him because is he going to be on Detroit very much longer really? So I don't know what the value of Abdullah is.
I think that he'd be best suited to start fresh somewhere else. I think he needs to get out of Detroit, whether they let him go or they trade him on draft day, something. Detroit should be trying to get something for him right now, as a matter of fact, especially if they don't like him in their long term.
He finished as an RB4 last year.
Not even startable.
As a guy that was basically the guy that was going to get all the chances.
He also missed 2 games. So running back 4 maybe squeezes in as a running back 3 because he was running back number 44. I could see him jumping up, a couple of spots and getting in that back end tier there. But he's only 24 years old. I mean, he'll be 25 at the start of the season, but they spent a 2nd round pick on him when they drafted him. So I don't see them just letting him go or trading him. I think that they keep him on the roster and. This is what I like now that we have Blunt as a 3rd down guy, the hammer back, because we haven't had that. I think we just keep what we have. If they don't want to spend a high pick on a running back, I'm okay with it. I mean, we haven't been running the ball well, so either way, it's not going to help or hurt us by drafting a running back early. I'd rather spend that pick on somebody, another position, defensive position or offensive line position, and roll with Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick for the last years of their contract, and have Blunt be the hammer down back. And we actually have a goal line back that we can go to that will help everyone. So if I'm as a dynasty owner though, fantasy relevant wise, you have to buy Amir Abdullah. You have to, because if his value right now is at an all-time low. It's at an all-time low as it could possibly go. So I'm trying to buy him now, and I will deal with.
Before he goes
anywhere,
team, and then all of a sudden it's going to go up again.
Before he's Jerick McKinnon, and all of a sudden gets traded somewhere or signs to San Francisco, and now all of a sudden he's the every down back somewhere, or gets a huge opportunity like that, and now all of a sudden he's a 1st round pick. First round pick value. I'd rather take my chances on him. I wouldn't pay it much. I mean, you're looking at same thing. I think a back end 3rd, 4th or 5th. In that range. Back in 3rd, probably early 4th is where I would put him at.
I don't think I would give a 3rd for him. If I'm trying to buy him, I would buy him for a 4th.
Like 309, you wouldn't give up? 310?
I'd give him.
I definitely would. He has the talent. He's just in a bad.
For a 4th. I don't think.
Well, that's the problem.
Right, exactly.
I don't think the owners.
Somebody's gonna want a 2nd. He wants a 2nd, probably.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if you own him, you're obviously trying not to sell him right now because you're not going to get anything for him.
True, but at some point. You can't just have guys clogging up your roster. If you're kind of filling out your roster and you're looking good, and he's kind of just sitting at the end of your bench, slowly moving down. Like sometimes you do come to a point where you gotta cut bait with a guy. So I mean, 3rd, I would definitely give a 3rd for him just to take a shot on him. I got a question for you, James. You're a Detroit fan. To me, I would like to see, excuse me, Blunt be like the first down back, share second down duties. You could go either way, first and second down, pounding it, second and third down, kind of chucking it around. And do you like Abdullah or Theo Riddick more, and like that pass catching back role?
Riddick.
I do as well.
But it's tough because Amir Abdullah is faster and he's more like elusive and I think he's explosive as hell. If you get Amir Abdullah in the open field 1-on-1, I would take my chances with Amir Abdullah over Theo Riddick making the move and getting by the guy. It's just he's had a lot of injuries and so has Theo Riddick. Both of these guys, to be honest, have been injured every single season. They've not. I don't know offhand, but I'm gonna take a wild shot here and say that neither one of them has played all 16 games. Every year, it's like wrist surgery, then ankle, and then he got a knee injury, and then now his other hand. And it's like pass catching backs and with broken hands. I mean, obviously, even when they're quote unquote healed and healthy, it's still gonna bother you. And both these guys have been injury prone their entire careers, and they just haven't figured out how to use them. We keep changing offensive coordinators. We keep getting head coaches that are defensive coordinators, Caldwell and Patricia and who was before him, Schwartz. Like, they're all defensive guys. Like, get an offensive coordinator in there, an offensive-minded coach in there that can actually use their running backs correctly, because we can't find one. So I'm hoping that Jim Bob Cooter has it figured out with this LeGarrette Blount situation. Him and Patricia are on the same page. Otherwise, we're going to roll the herd and running game again.
I would definitely rather have Theo Riddick. Like, I feel like he's explosive, and when he's been out there...
he's more consistent, for sure.
He's a beast. Even with like the less workload last year, he finished higher than Abdullah.
He's a PPR monster for sure.
He got way less carries and
less fumbles.
I think he's better than Abdullah.
I know, I do. I think the talent is better with Riddick. I just think that Amir Abdullah is a more explosive guy that is going to shock you with. Maybe they need to use Abdullah in another way, like a slot receiver.
Are you going back to like when everybody got enamored with the preseason? His first touch in the preseason.
No, I've watched many Detroit Lions games on Thanksgiving or whatever, and he's just very fast, he's just very elusive. Like, every time you see him on screen with the eye test, you're like, wow, this guy is literally, he's lightning. He's literally lightning in a bottle when he is healthy and when he's in the open field, and it's a lot of if type situation.
Yeah.
Riddick is the more consistent, talented guy. But they can use Abdullah differently. Put him in the slot, send him in motion, run little trick plays and screen plays like they kind of use Tyreek Hill type of thing. Because the guy can catch. You just need to get him out in the open field. And when we can't block for him, he can't get in the open field.
You can't do that for Riddick? Like, I feel like everything you can do.
I think Riddick is more of a running back. Like, he's solid at what he's doing. They need to get one of those two guys out. It needs to be Riddick and Blunt, and then use Abdullah differently maybe. Because he can't be one of those guys that's going to be an every down guy, and he's definitely not a goal line short yardage guy. He can catch, but he has to get space. He's not a guy who's going to run between the tackles or run over a linebacker. He needs to get out in the open. So, like I said, bubble screens and send him across the middle, stuff like that. Otherwise,
but that's
I don't know where he fits in.
It's Golden Tate's.
Exactly. That's what every guy on our team. They're all like 6 foot and under.
But that's like Tate's not giving up that slot role and the bubble screens and the slants. Like that's Tate's role.
I'm just saying specialty, not like put him there every down. Just specialty, plays. That's all. Like, just run a couple of plays specifically for Abdullah. Let him get going early, and we'll be fine, guys. We're gonna get 9 wins probably.
How do you guys feel?
Maybe 10.
Two names I'm gonna throw out because they're on the same team.
What do you want?
Cohen and Jordan Howard.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm buying Tariq Cohen, and I'm selling Jordan Howard.
I would do this.
Well, and this has nothing to do with who I think is the better running back.
Does that have to do with his Instagram?
No. This has to do with, I don't think Howard is Nagy's guy, and they've already come out and given him the vote of confidence. Like, nope, he's our starting running back. But we've seen this before.
The dreaded vote of confidence?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think they're constantly going to be looking for someone else other than Howard. They want a guy that can be a 3-down back. Like he had Kareem Hunt in Kansas City. Like, they want a guy that can be a 3-down back. And I think they're going to use Tariq Cohen a lot more in the passing game. So if you can get him cheap, like a mid to late second round pick, and you can get Cohen, he can almost be used as a receiver like you can use in years past, like the way you can use Theo Riddick. You use him as like a flex guy that you can get some receptions for. He's not going to get a bunch of first and second down carries, obviously. He's not the answer at running back. But I think that the Bears organization doesn't believe that Jordan Howard is the answer at running back. He has a lot of drops. He can't catch, so they know that they're not passing him the ball when he's in there. It's almost like you're showing
he's
your
still
hand.
he's still a good first and second down
I
back.
think he'd be good somewhere else. But if they continue to keep him on the Bears, I just don't think that he's their guy.
He's been. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they like Jordan Howard. The kid's been good, man. Especially for what was he, a 5th round pick?
Yep.
Or, he's
5th round.
The kid's been good. He's one of those kind of I've never really jumped on the Howard train, but it's like, okay, how long is he going to kind of do this for? Even last year when they were having a bad run, he was the guy there. He was able to kind of shoulder the load a little bit and do pretty well. I mean, they were kind of a mess regardless, but I think if they start fixing some of that stuff, they actually got some receivers, and maybe they won't be able to kind of put as much emphasis on stopping the run. I think he'll thrive there. I do think they like Cohen, but you also have Taylor Gabriel, who's very similar and is going to be that small guy catching kind of those kind of things. So I think Cohen is going to be great. I think he's going to do a lot of special teams. So if you get special teams yardage, return yardage, I think that's a great player to have as well. But yeah, I think his upside is capped a little bit. I mean, I think with a guy like that, you're hoping for the big, spectacular plays. I'd rather have Howard myself. His price is probably more.
You think Howard's value can get higher, though? Because you're already going to have to give up probably a first round.
Yeah.
And maybe even plus. Like a first round plus another player to get Jordan Howard. So do you think his value is going to go up higher? Because we're talking Dynasty here. So I think he's finished, top 12 2 years in a row, just right at
13, 12, yeah.
13, 12. So he hasn't given you higher than 12th. So he's a back-end RB1.
Right.
You think he could be higher?
Who's 20? Why does he have to be higher necessarily?
For you to get your value.
He is only 23.
He's 23.
Right.
If you're going to go out and buy him, he's probably going to be a guy you want to plug in and have there for a while. If I'm going to buy Howard, I'm not really looking for his value. If it does go up, great. But I think he is what he is. He's going to be right in that area, an RB1. He's not probably ever going to be Le'Veon Bell. He's not going to be these guys at the very, very top. But he's going to have years where he's going to get a ton of touchdowns. He's going to have, I think, consistency. I think you're going to have consistent RB1. Maybe he slides into an upper RB2 if they have a bad run.
Just the only thing I don't like about him is he's very inconsistent with fantasy relevant scoring wise. And every time I look at his stats from the year before or this last season, he's either all in or complete dud. And it's not because of lack of carries. Like some of these, he's getting 15 plus carries and still not even scoring 5 points. But if you look at it, he's 16 and then he gets 1, 36 points, and then down here 7, 6, 18, and then he goes 5, 21, 4, 4, 32, 10, 17, 2. It's it's a huge influence. So if a guy's getting 15 to 20 carries a game and he's getting 2 to 3 points, you're losing that week. Your running back 1, that's your probably running back 1 at the worst case running back 2 puts up 2 points or 3 points. He did have 23 catches on the season on 32 targets. So I don't know how many balls he dropped. I know it was an issue in 2016. I don't know if 2017 was as much of an issue because they just stopped throwing to him. They started throwing to Cohen because, like Jay said, he had so many drops before. But it's just, I don't know. I don't like the inconsistency. He finished as a running back 12, but it was one of those guys where you either killed that week when he had his huge 35-point weeks, or you probably got beat when he scored 2, 1, 3, 3, 4. You can't get 4 points. Come on. You're playing the San Francisco 49ers, 4 points.
Okay, yeah, but just looking at the stat box, that's one thing. But dig into the game. Did he get taken out of the game basically because of the way the game was and they were throwing more? And yeah,
well, 13, you look right here.
Still give attempts.
13
you got to
carries.
keep the defense honest.
Right.
But maybe it was just game script. You never know. You got to look deeper. I think he's not the guy you're kind of dependent on, like a super RB1. And if he does have a down game, I don't think it's necessarily killing you. I think he's fairly consistent, and everybody has up and down games.
Consistently finishing consistent for sure, but not a game-by-game basis. What are you looking at there,
He
Rob?
led the Bears in drops last year on the team. He had 5 drops, which was highest.
And how much weight do you put into that with the way they were shuffling in and out?
5 drops out of 32
receivers.
catches, that's pretty bad.
How
Or
many,
32 targets.
How many? Yeah, but I don't
5 out of
know.
32, and you bring in Nagy, who runs the offense where they throw to the running back. That's my only issue. That's why I don't see him getting any better. Yeah, maybe he'll finish back end RB1 or high end RB2, but that's why I'd be selling him. Because he's not going to get any. He's not going to go any higher. I don't think. They're not all of a sudden fix his drops. He's not a receiving back.
Right, Cohen had one drop out of 71 targets, and he had what'd you say? 5 out of 32?
5 out of 32.
That's, Jesus. So he's not going to be used on third down to catch. That's.
Has anybody ever expected that though?
I mean, if you're at RB1, you want him to catch a little bit in a PPR league. I do.
I think there's plenty that don't.
Well, that's why guys like LaShawn McCoy, who run for probably less yardage and maybe even less touchdowns, still are 5 and 6 spots ahead of guys that are 23 years old that don't catch. That's what, like, he might run for 1,400 yards, but he's still going to be outscored fantasy-wise for the guy that gets those 45, 50 catches, and that's what's tough to...
Same thing with Zeke Elliott, Todd
Same
Gurley,
thing.
Le'Veon Bell,
Right.
all those, David Johnson, they all catch.
Do you ever expect him to finish up in that echelon? Do you expect Jordan Howard to be one of those guys? I don't think you do. I think
No,
you
which is
buy
why
him.
I'm not buying him.
Not everyone has to finish in the top 5, though, to be viable.
But
That's a word,
what you're having to pay for him is
Right.
something that I wouldn't. I'm not giving a first round pick and something
Okay,
else to buy
point.
Jordan Howard.
But if you were to buy Le'Veon Bell, the same 4 guys just named, Todd Gurley, whatever, you're
Right.
giving up like multiple firsts and something else. With Jordan Howard, who's only finishing 6 and 7 spots behind those guys, 1 first round pick and like a player is not that much when you look at, maybe another 40 or 50 more points above him of like the LaShawn McCoys and the Elliots and the Bells. You're having to give probably 103 and another first and maybe a future first or like another huge name player to get that guy. Whereas Howard is going to be relatively cheap if you look at it that way compared to reasonable. A first round pick and like a receiver is very reasonable when you look at what he's produced fantasy wise. Just if you look at the points, and not saying like NFL. Talent wise, but just fantasy relevant wise, I think that a first round pick and a player isn't that outrageous for Jordan Howard. When if you wanted a David Johnson, what do you have to give up for him? If you wanted a Gurley, you're giving up the entire world for him, and they're not.
Those owners aren't giving those guys up is what the problem is.
Correct.
No one's giving up Zeke or David Johnson or Gurley.
Right. That's why you go after the Howards and the Freemans and the McCoys.
You're gonna have to go after this kind of group of guys.
Yeah, I agree. We have like maybe 5 minutes. Do we want to do like 1 or 2 wide receivers? I think we all wrote down 1 wide receiver that was all the same.
Yeah, go ahead. One of yours.
So
yeah,
Jordy Nelson, I think all 3 of us happened to write down. He's going to be 33 years old at the season start. He finished as wide receiver number 48 last season. I thought, and Travis also thought, he got a season-ending injury or that he got hurt during the season.
It felt that way.
It's just what it felt because obviously it was Aaron Rodgers and it was Hundley. When I went back and looked, he only missed, what wasn't it, like 2 games or something? I think he only missed 2 games. But the schedule, okay, he's going to a new division, new team, new everything, going to Oakland. He's going to be the number 2 option there outside of Amari Cooper. And their division is tough. You play the Chargers 2 times, who have a good secondary. You play Denver twice, who has a good secondary. And you play Kansas City twice, also has a good secondary. For me, he's a ultimate sell. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts for me. He's a sell. But the issue is, I don't know at this point what you can get for him. The only thing you can do is sell him hard to say he's going to be the red zone guy now in Oakland. He's going to be the guy who's going to get the touchdowns. John Gruden knows how to use it. I don't know how you can spin it, but new team, new situation. He's gonna flourish in that first year. That's the only way I could sell it. And you ain't selling him to me. That's for sure. But if I was to sell him, I would pray to get a second-round pick in any capacity, but I just don't know if I could.
I'm selling, and I think that unfortunately for any Jordy Nelson owners, they've missed that boat.
Mm-hmm.
We've always talked about it. There's that fine line of when to get rid of that veteran player.
Like if you sold
And
him
you're talking-
before this last season started, you could have got a first-round pick for him. Like first,
I think
no doubt in
so
my
too.
mind.
Like he's in Green Bay, he's with Rodgers, he's this, he's that. You probably could have gotten a first-round pick. Plus, I think in 2016 he finished like a top 3 receiver. In
Correct.
fantasy points.
Yeah, he was like number. Yeah, I think he was
Like
number 3.
no, he was like number either 1, 2, or 3 with
Mhm.
Antonio Brown,
Right.
and maybe Odell Beckham mixing in there too. But you could have gotten, like you said, a first-round pick for him. Now you wait,
1 season.
and everything falls apart. They lose Rodgers for 8 games, and then he has like the worst 8-game stretch of his entire career with Hundley as a quarterback. Then they ship him off, they cut him. He goes to Oakland, and now it's like he's got to work on a whole new rapport. And he's a veteran, so I'm sure he'll develop a rapport with Derek Carr. But it's not going to be better than what Derek Carr has with Amari Cooper, they've been together for what, 3 seasons now?
Mm-hmm. 4.
So,
yeah.
And then you come out and you have Gruden saying that everything's going to run through Cooper. He's going to be the main vein of this offense. So, yeah, Nelson will get his, but it's not going to be anything what it was like in Green Bay. So if I have Nelson on my team and I'm selling and I can get a 3rd round pick for him, I'd probably take that.
3rd.
I would
keep
him.
him. Yeah, I would keep him if it was a 3rd.
You pretty much have to.
Damn, it's crazy how stuff changes over.
Well, it's
12 months.
like you were saying earlier, you got to be able to be fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, nobody saw those things transpiring that would cause him to lose such value.
Right.
But reality check, it did. It happened. Come to terms with it and adjust your evaluation of your own players. If you're sitting where you can kind of hold on to him and he's not going to hurt you and you can wait and see if he has a decent season, then yeah, hold him on because you're not going to get great value for him.
Are you trying to start him though? Like he's one of
That's
those guys
what's
going to be
hard.
a fringe like.
You're gonna definitely want to be able to see how it goes.
Yeah.
If you do hold on to him and he does go off, then that's probably the best time for you to sell him because
yeah.
long term or even next year, the days are numbered basically. He's probably lost some of his separation. He's lost some of that stuff that he used to love from Jordy Nelson. And truth be told, there's so many times that him and Aaron Rodgers were on the same page that you're like, how did this guy just get wide open all of a sudden? And they just knew, man. And that's not going to be the same, like you said, Jay. It's not going to be the same. So I do think he can definitely be an RB or a wide receiver 2 for you if things work out. I do think they had a down year last year, and I do think that he's a good vet that will be able to make the best of a situation if he stays healthy. I would buy him.
You're a cheat.
Yeah, I would give a 3rd round for him just to see. And if I was trying to get rid of him, if I had
trying to get 1 or 2 years out of him.
If I had a decent receiver core, I would definitely be looking to move him. And I would take probably an early 3rd, 2nd for him.
But they are now. He's going to be facing all the 2nd and 3rd corners instead of in his career in Green Bay. Let's be honest, maybe up until the last part of the season there. When Devontae Adams started taking over and Hundley and that whole situation. But for all of his career, he's pretty much had the cornerback ones against him, which is a tough division with the Darius Slay and you have Minnesota in the division. So it wasn't easy in Green Bay. He still flourished very well. So now he's going to be facing number 2 corners. That's the one thing that I think that could benefit him is that all the eyes on the field are going to be on Amari Cooper because they know that's the number 1 target, or he might absolutely get like 65, 70 receptions this season and 5 or 6 touchdowns because he's getting lesser talented cornerbacks guarding him.
But the problem is we talked about how much of that was Aaron Rodgers. How much of it was I'm not saying Jordy Nelson's bad. I'm not saying he's a bad receiver or he's terrible. What I'm saying is how much of it was really Aaron Rodgers. Because you saw Aaron Rodgers go out and Jordy Nelson was healthy and him and Hundley just had no rapport whatsoever. Devontae Adams did fine. Devontae Adams was able to sustain that wide receiver 1, fringe 11,
he finished
12.
as wide receiver 15 and missed 2 games last season.
Right. So Adams was able to sustain it.
Well,
why wasn't Nelson?
You could,
Cobb did good with him too.
It's layers of the onion. I mean, Adams is younger, Hundley's younger in the locker room, outside of football. Maybe they kind of have some kind of friendship.
They play Fortnite together.
Friendship. Then maybe that translates a little bit too on the field, or if they were, who knows? Jordy Nelson is probably older, not hanging out with the young kids necessarily. So I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that.
That was a good narrative.
Well, I love narratives, but I mean, you can see like real life getting in the way of maybe them getting that rapport down. Because it was very evident that it was almost like Hundley didn't even look at Nelson.
Exactly. And that's what I'd be afraid of with him going to Oakland is just that what if him and Carr just can't get on the same page? Like, what if they're just not gelling?
I hear you, and I would be a little concerned about that too. I feel like they have the off season and they have the time to kind of do that. When Hundley came in, it was just like all of a sudden like boom, this is how we're doing things now. I think you can convince yourself to buy Nelson. I think there's plenty of, like you said, number 2 corners, or not the number 1 corners covering you. The focus not being on you necessarily. You could find your space to thrive. You could convince yourself, I think, to buy Nelson, and if you made some moves and you got multiple seconds, maybe you could give one up for a guy that it's not going to hurt you if you have to jump off of him next year or if he doesn't pan out.
Like, I have the 205 in the upcoming draft, and I wouldn't even think twice about trying to trade for Jordan. I'd rather take my chances on whatever I can get at 205. If it is a receiver, I'd rather take my chances with the. Probably not. Gallup might be gone, but the Anthony Millers and
you're built to win right now.
Right.
So what's that tell you? That you're not even willing to give up a 205 for Jordy Nelson.
Like I have a 307. I have 307. I would give up for Jordy Nelson because again, 307. I could probably get somebody decent, take a shot in the dark on a rookie. But I'd rather have that vet that I know has done it before, been there before, as a just in case stash away. In case I need a playoff run and I have injuries like last season,
Right. So
it would have been great to have
I
last
think we
year.
all agree a third-round pick is about where his value is.
Yeah. But again, the owner that has him, no chance he's giving him up for a third because he overvalues his players
and he's already missed the boat on getting value out of Jordy Nelson. So he's going to have to just have to sink with the ship. Like he's already missed the boat on getting high value for Jordy Nelson.
We know about missing the boat, Derrick Henry.
We missed the boat on Derrick Henry already?
Yeah, you did.
What is he, 23 years old?
No, you missed the boat. You could have sold him for a lot.
I still could probably get a first round pick for him. For Derrick Henry.
From who?
I bet you I can get a first round pick. For Derrick
Throw
Henry.
it out there, I guess.
Just from name
Throw it out there, prove it.
I'm not looking to sell him.
Because you can't.
I'm not going to hold on this guy for forever and then before you even.
We'll put it in our group Facebook page. Say, would anybody give up a first round pick for Derrick Henry? Not that you're selling him. Would anybody give up a first round pick for Derrick Henry? See?
I can see this playing out. Like he's like, I'm gonna hold him. I've been holding him this long. I'm gonna hold him.
Right.
And then it goes down to he's only worth a second round pick. Well, I can't sell him now because.
Yeah, you're gonna own him for his entire season.
He's like, now I gotta ride him. I gotta ride the ship into.
He's 38 and he's like, he's gonna have a good season.
If that's the case, then that's the case. I'm okay. My team is built enough to where I can hold him, and it's not going to kill me to hold him for his entire career.
But he is one of those guys that you're not sure if you're gonna. Are you starting? Like, do you know for sure that you're gonna be playing Derrick Henry week 1 in your starting lineup?
No, it'll be my flex. Like my personal team is gonna be basically Hunt. It's gonna be Hunt and Kamara are the two for sure starters, and then receiver is gonna be Landry and Demaryius Thomas.
See, if I were you, I'd be playing Henry as my third.
Well, that's gonna be my flex spot. It's gonna basically go by matchup, but I want to see how they
use him.
How they use him and
Deion Lewis, come on, baby, make me proud, Deion. I sold the second round pick for Deion Lewis, so I'm hoping he works out a little bit there. Anything else that you guys want to add to player values, heat checks?
No, we could talk.
56.
Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we could talk probably 6 more hours on this topic.
I'm willing to go.
But yeah, let's wrap it because it's almost an hour.
All right, it's Rap City. Crack it.
Rap City.
Did you end it yet? I love talking that shit. Once we get going, that shit fucking just flows.
That's the best though, man. Because
I do like that, yeah.
Let's see. What do you think about this? Because it still has those tinges of we're talking.